Let's go, girl.
Good morning, self-lover. Welcome back to my channel. I am your girl, Kyle Shonda, just coming with this week's, words of wisdom that I am living by, okay? Got my trusty iPad here with my notes so that we can stay on point and stay focused. But this week, our title is going to be a perpetual place of quiet. So if you follow me on social media, or even if you saw last week's video, you know that beginning in October of 2022, I went into a place of quiet where I just kind of got quiet and started listening for what God had to say to me. I was in a place where I was very confused and very I don't know, I just didn't know what to do or what was next for me in business and ministry. And so I got quiet where so that I can hear. So I've known my purpose for years. I've always known, not always, but I've known for years who I am called to serve, who I am called to help, who I am supposed to inspire. But what I lost sight of was how I was supposed to do that. How was I supposed to serve women in business and ministry? What did that look like? Is it just books? Is it events? Is it programs? Is it webinars? I didn't know what it is that I was supposed to do to serve these women. How was I supposed to be of service to them? For years, a couple years, I was busy doing busy work just so that I could do something. But that busy work, it wasn't yielding me any joy, and it wasn't yielding me very much profit, if I can be honest. I was doing okay. And if you know me, I am not okay with just okay. So, but I wasn't finding any joy in it, and I wasn't making any money from it. I believe maybe a few people were impacted, but the ministry, the business was not growing outside of those people who already know, love, and trust me, the people who are already invested in me. So there was little growth as well. And so I knew that something had to change. Like, either I wasn't called to do this work so I can stop, or I am called to do it so I need to know what it is that God wanted me to do. So I got into that quiet place so that I could actually hear what it is that God wanted me to do. So as it turns out, the something or someone that had to change was me. I am the common denominator in all of my situations. So if I cannot change the situation, then I have to change myself. Last week's video was entitled, If Nothing Changes, Nothing Changes. I'll link that below because y'all need to see that one too. But after my time of quiet, because I was about to say solitude, but it wasn't solitude because I wasn't separated. And technically I wasn't silenced, but I got quiet because I realized that I really didn't have anything to say. And because I didn't have anything to say and God gave me nothing to say, I didn't say anything. So for about 2.5, 3 months, I didn't really talk about business. I didn't really talk about ministry. I just posted, like regular old everyday run-of-the-mill content. There was no real purpose behind it that had to do with my calling, per se. I think that time was probably the most difficult time I've ever had as a kingdom entrepreneur. It was hard to be quiet, even though I didn't have anything to say, because like I said, for a couple years, I've been doing busy work. I've just kind of been making sure that I stayed out there, making sure that I stayed visual and visible. But it was hard to not have anything to say because I don't consider myself much of a talker, but on social media, I always have value to provide, and I didn't feel like I had any value to provide. And then, I don't know how, as a kingdom entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur period, how are you supposed to grow on social media when you build your business there if you're quiet? But at the same time, what business was I building? Because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. So it was just it was hard to be in a place where I had to be quiet, and even though I didn't have anything to say. Yeah, somebody get me, okay? So at this point, because I didn't have anything to say then, I feel like God has given me more to say now about the fact that sometimes we do need to get quiet. I was finally released to share a bit of where I was in that place. A couple weeks ago, I did a virtual vendor show, and it was supposed to be talking about your business and your ministry. And I wasn't going to do it because, again, I didn't really have anything to say. But then I felt led to do it, and I did. And I talked about the fact that it's okay for entrepreneurs to get quiet sometimes. It's okay for us to take a step back, reevaluate, and listen to God, and not necessarily do anything. We don't have to always be in the now, because God will place us where it is that He would have for us to be. But we just have to make sure that we are staying in tune with Him. And that's kind of what I had to do during that time at the end of 2022. And even now, I'm very particular about what I share and what I post and the things that I have to say. And I feel like that time, or that vendor event, was kind of my coming out of sorts, where I was able to talk about the fact that it's okay to be quiet. Like, you won't lose anything. And maybe this is the point of today's message, is that even as a kingdom entrepreneur, as a business owner, a ministry leader, you won't lose anything if God takes you to a place of quiet. He is not going to leave you in your place of quiet. And I kept saying during that time that it's difficult, but I know that God is here. I never felt like I was alone, which is why I could not use the word solitude earlier. I never felt like I was alone. It was difficult for me to be quiet because that's not who I'm used to being. But I survived it, and I feel like I'm better for it. I have clarity. I have wisdom. I've grown from that time. Now I'm speaking more than I have since October, but less than I have in years. Because like I said, my message is more pointed now. I know exactly who I'm speaking to. I know exactly who the message is for. And I think another thing about it, because I did not want to be a YouTube person. I didn't want to do YouTube. But I felt God led me here. Because I don't want to be consumed with the numbers and consumed with the growth and consumed with monetizing. I've done all of that for years, where I was consumed with growing on social media, consumed with the numbers, and am I growing? Are people listening? I am at a place now where God is going to get this message to whomever is supposed to have it. And I'm happy with whomever is supposed to have it. I'm happy with whatever the growth is. I believe, God, that there will be growth on the channel. I don't believe He has me here for no reason, but I am okay with whoever God sends to watch or listen to what it is that I have to say. At this point, what I say has to be of value. It's time out for busy work for me. I can't just be busy anymore. Everything has to have value. Everything must be from God, and it must align with who it is that He has called me to be. I can't be anybody else anymore. And I don't think that I was trying to be anybody else, but I was definitely chasing somebody else's definition of success. And so now, at this point in my business, my ministry, my business journey, I am completely authentic with being me and following my journey. I have defined my definition of success, and I'm okay with pursuing that. I'm okay with what that looks like. I'm okay with what consistency looks like for me. And my perpetual place of quiet is what got me there. So to you, kingdom entrepreneurs, business owners, ministry leaders, If God has you in a place of quiet, or has been telling you to get quiet, and you are fearful that your quiet will make you irrelevant, I'm going to admonish you to listen to God. Go into that place of quiet. He is there. He is going to be with you. And I promise you that when you come out of that place, what you have to say will be of more value than if you keep doing busy work. All right? Your girl, Kyle Shonda. I love you. Check me out on all social media channels. I am Kyle Shonda, all across the board. All right? I will see you in next week's video. And you keep doing what it is that God has called you to do. Bye.